Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online VGC 15 ladder. As you see, today I am using a new overlay actually made by Keon SPY on Twitter. You can give him a follow. He was very nice to make this overlay, and like I said, I will be trying out different overlays in the upcoming weeks, but I do think it adds a bit more spice to these videos. So I hope you enjoy it, and let me know your feedback about this overlay. Today I'll be using a team that I made yesterday for stream actually, with Charizard Y, normal Gengar, Sylveon, Terrakion, Bisharp, and Landorus T. I've been using Choice Band Landorus T a lot, but I decided to switch to Scarf, and this Gengar set's pretty interesting. But the first opponent of the day is going to be a 1726 rated player from Japan, with a team of Kangaskhan, Smeargle, Rotom Wash, Talonflame, Amoonguss, and Mienshao. So, just your kind of standard, pretty standard team. The Talonflame, Amoonguss, and Kangaskhan, all very common. Rotom Wash as well. Smeargle is definitely one of the more annoying Pokemon I'm gonna have to deal with here, especially because of Amoonguss, and I'm not sure what exactly item the Smeargle is carrying. Chances are Talonflame has Tailwind as well, which was actually featured in yesterday's episode. So, a lot of annoying things to deal with here. I think Landorus is a really solid lead just because I can immediately, sorry for the notification there. I can immediately intimidate his physical attackers. He only has one special attacker in Rotom Wash. And if it is Scarf Smeargle, then I can just outspeed it. Gengar here actually has Taunt, so that can really help out as well. But scrappy fake outs from the Kangaskhan might be annoying to deal with. Talonflame's also kind of tempting to lead, though. Let's see. Actually, if I were my opponent, I'd definitely lead Rotom Wash, so I don't think I want to bring the Landorus. I'm going to lead with Sylveon and Gengar, actually. And I'm going to have... see, Charizard's pretty good here, I think. Terrakion, Charizard to counter the Amoonguss. I mean, this is tough because I really want to bring all the Pokemon. I think I'm going to keep Bisharp out here because of the two potential fighting type, attack users with Mienshao and Kangaskhan. Terrakion here is very tempting. As is Landorus. You know what, I'm going to go with Landorus and Charizard, I think. Yeah. So I go Sylveon, Gengar, Landorus, Charizard. Keeping Bisharp out because I think it's just too weak. Especially with the Amoonguss there, it can redirect attacks away, and he has two Pokemon that can outspeed me and one-hit KO me. Three if you include Talonflame. And Terrakion is tempting here, but once again, the weakness to fighting is somewhat scary. So I'm going to go with my Spec Sylveon and this Focus Sash Gengar, as my opponent goes with Kangaskhan and Smeargle. Oh, that's an obnoxious lead to deal with. Very obnoxious, actually. I think my opponent's just going to fake out Gengar and Dark Void. And I don't have any good options to that. I should have led a bit better to counteract this lead. I was expecting Rotom Wash just because it beats my team so hard, but my opponent decided to go with Smeargle regardless. I'm just going to go with Hyper Voice here. And... let's see, what do I have in the back? Landorus and Charizard. I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp onto Kangaskhan to try to burn it and neutralize it, but he does stay in normal scrappy form and fakes out the Gengar, breaking my Focus Sash. And that's actually a Scarf Smeargle, so leading with Landorus could have helped. Though, even if I led with it, he could have just faked out the slot. Sylveon actually avoids it though, so really fortunate avoid there, as Gengar here is going to fall asleep. But that's good, because I take a turn of sleep, and Sylveon's going to be able to get this Specs Hyper Voice off. So that's as ideal of a turn as I could have gotten. It should KO the... oh, wow! A crit there onto normal Kangaskhan. Of course, it didn't Mega Evolve, so that's incredible. And it takes out the Smeargle in one hit. So Spec Sylveon really pulling through there. And that's why I really don't like Smeargle in general as a Pokemon. You really rely on hitting Dark Voids. And, if you don't, you lose so much momentum. And that was the case here, basically. So now my opponent can just Brave Bird Gengar and return the Sylveon or Double Edge it. So I'm thinking I want to switch out to Landorus. But at the same time, I don't want Landorus to really take damage because it's my best way of dealing with this Talonflame. But you know what? I can't afford to lose both Pokemon on one turn, so I'm gonna go for it. By switching the Intimidate there, this should allow Sylveon to stick around for a turn longer. And yeah. Let's see how this plays out. But the Intimidate here is going to help out a lot against both of his physical type attackers. It's as ideal as a position as Landorus could come in. Kangaskhan's actually not going to Mega Evolve. So maybe he Brave Birded the... Yeah, the Sylveon, but it hangs out with 94 HP there. Let's see what Kangaskhan... It goes for the power-up punch there onto... Wow. Not the play I was expecting at all. Also, not a play that makes too much sense, if you ask me, but I'm perfectly fine with that because Landorus didn't take nearly as much damage as I thought it would have. And I KO the Kangaskhan there with another crit, but obviously I didn't need either of them since he would have been in KO range anyway. So I'm going to go with 4-2 and the Talonflame's Intimidated, which is fantastic. And Rotom Wash is my opponent's last Pokemon, so that's basically as good as things get. Oops, can't. I'm just going to Hyper Voice and Rock Slide here. Actually, maybe I should switch out Landorus. Because Talonflame might want to protect here. I'll switch it back out to Gengar. That way I get a free switch and back into Landorus. Either way, Charizard and Landorus should be able to close out this game. Let's see. Talonflame's not going to protect though. It's just going to go for Brave Bird right away. Who does it target? Probably Sylveon if I had to hedge my bets. Yep. And that actually does pick up the KO. So nice turn from my opponent there. But now I just get a free switch into... Landorus and Charizard in the back. As Hydro Pump does KO the Gengar. So, good play by my opponent for sure. Oh, it actually doesn't KO. That was kind of surprising, but... I'm going to bring in Charizard here, Mega Evolve, and that means Hydro Pump's going to be doing less as well. And that Talonflame's going to knock itself out from a Brave Bird, which is really good for me as well. So, I'm going to... The one thing I'm afraid of right now is a potential Tailwind coming out from that Talonflame. For example, if my opponent decides to Tailwind and protect Rotom Wash, that would give him a good advantage. I'm just going to protect here and go for the Sludge Bomb onto Rotom Wash, since Talonflame's going to knock it out anyway. And I'm not going to Mega Evolve just to conserve Sun turns, even though at this point it doesn't really matter. But he is just going to go for the Brave Bird into the Gengar. So that's good. No Tailwind coming out. I think that's actually Choice Band Talonflame if I had to guess. And that's fantastic because now I just get a free switch into Landorus and I can just Rock Slide Solar Beam for the win. Yep. So as long as I don't miss the attacks here, it should be okay. But Rock Slide, of course, does have a chance of missing. So that's always scary to deal with. But the Talonflame now at -2, it's not going to do too much, and it's going to knock itself out. So that's good, and I put myself in a pretty good position. Sylveon avoiding the Dark Void there was very fortunate in the beginning. Basically, I think if my opponent hit that, I would have been in a really bad position. But of course, your chances of hitting 2 Dark Voids is only around 60%, slightly higher than that. So it's, you know, not exactly ideal to rely on Dark Void from the beginning of the game. In yesterday's episode, my opponent actually used it towards the later end of the game when Tailwind was set up, so that way you can afford to miss it. But, you know, when you use it in the beginning of the game, you really can't afford to miss it. So Talonflame here is going to go for Brave Bird, probably on Landorus. Actually, probably on Charizard, yeah. So it's going to knock itself out there, which is even better because now Rock Slide is a single target onto that Rotom Wash. Oh, but it does! It avoids. Wow. That's crazy. So now we have a game. Oh, but Solar Beam actually just picks up the KO there. So I was expecting Rotom Wash to be able to survive the Solar Beam since Rotom Washes tend to be really specially bulky. But I am running Modest Nature on this Charizard, so maybe my opponent EVs to survive the Timid one. So I pick up a pretty quick Game 1 in today's episode. Game 1 win, excuse me. Against the kind of standard Smeargle Cheese team. Like I said, if that Smeargle were to stick around any longer, I would have been in a lot of trouble. And I should have led better right from the start. I think leading Landorus Gengar would have been significantly better than leading with the Sylveon. But like I said, I was really scared of the Rotom Wash, and I figured if my opponent did lead with Rotom Wash, Sylveon would be able to just dish out a lot of damage. But by staying in normal form and Sylveon avoiding the Dark Void, I was able to just capitalize off it. And in the end, Sylveon just swept through. So pretty fortunate turn of events there, but I definitely need to play a bit more careful if I run into future Smeargles. So rating back to 1828, still obviously not up to the 1900 goal we're aiming for, and there are only a couple of days left before the rating resets, so I'm hoping to win every battle here on out, but, you know, we'll see how it goes. And even if it doesn't, you know, we'll be restarting the Road to Rank series once the season resets, and I will be building more serious and cooler teams to use, because for the first season, At Road to Ranked, I've kind of just thrown strong Pokemon together for fun, tested them out, but I am getting into more dedicated team building. Of course, I do like to keep some teams off of YouTube/Twitch, mainly because I am entering a lot of VGC tournaments too, and I don't want to reveal all my sets and EVs, but at the same time, I still have a lot of cool plans and teams planned out for the upcoming videos, so stay tuned. Second opponent of the day is going to be an 1806 rated player from Japan with the team of Salamence, Talonflame, Aegislash, Sylveon, Landorus T, and Rotom Wash. So a lot of similar Pokemon from the last match, especially the Talonflame and Rotom. Salamence is the Mega Evolution on my opponent's team, which should be very interesting to fight up against. Now I really like Gengar here because Gengar can super effectively hit the Sylveon. It's also got Icy Wind, and if you saw my set earlier, I'm not actually carrying Protect on it. It's a really support/offensive set, even though Gengar's not that bulky. You know, you can just scare away your opponent right from the start. So I actually really like leading Sylveon and Gengar. Let's see. Bisharp, however, is really fantastic in this match as well, because my opponent has 2 Intimidators. I can outspeed and one-hit KO the Aegislash and Sylveon, and even do a lot of damage to Rotom, and Talonflame has the Flare Blitz, and if it chooses to Flare Blitz to hit Bisharp, then I can just, you know, Sucker Punch. So I want to conserve Bisharp in this match because I think it's essential. And the real question is, who do I want to lead with, though? This is tough. I think I'm definitely going to lead with Bisharp. My opponent doesn't really have many good ways to deal with it right from the start. I actually really like Bisharp Landorus as a lead. Though that kind of suffers against his Rotom Wash and Aegislash. So Bisharp. Maybe Bisharp Charizard, actually. Or Bisharp Terrakion. Oh, so many decisions. Or Bisharp Sylveon. This is a really tough one. Bisharp and... leaning towards Terrakion, to be quite honest. I'll go Terrakion. No, Charizard, Landorus, and... oh god. I timed out there, so I chose Terrakion as my last one. That's rough. Gengar would have been really nice in this match, actually. As would Sylveon against the Mega Mens, but this should be interesting. I did want to lead with Gengar because I could just Icy Wind and Will-O-Wisp, so I made a mistake in not leading with that. But my opponent leads with Salamence and Aegislash against my Bisharp and Charizard. That's a pretty solid lead matchup here. Let's see if Salamence has Intimidate, though. Maybe it actually doesn't carry Intimidate. And oh, it does. Okay. So an Intimidate immediately coming out from that. That's going to activate my Defiant, obviously. And that's not going to affect my Charizard. So that's not bad. I would have preferred to have Gengar here as a lead, just because, you know, it does better against, you can just Icy Wind the Salamence. Though the Aegislash most likely has Wide Guard as well. So I'm thinking of protecting Bisharp this first turn and overheating the Aegislash. That play makes sense to me. Or I could just Sucker Punch the Mega Mens because I have Landorus in the back, so I can just Rock Slide later on in the match. But Bisharp is really essential in this game, just because of how well it beats all my opponent's Pokemon. So I could just Sucker Punch and Overheat here to get a lot of damage off and pick up the KO, but I don't want Bisharp to faint, like I said right here. So I'm tempted to Protect and Overheat right now. You know what? I'm going to make that play. Oh, I'm not sure if that was right. I think I should have Sucker Punched instead. But let's see if it's a Dragon Dance set or not. Oh, this is a really difficult game. The timer is really affecting me here. I'm not making the best calls, I don't think. But we are going to have both of our Pokemon Mega evolving here. Probably 2 of the more common Megas in VGC 15 as of right now. And I do think Salamence might be the best VGC 15 Mega from Oris. Let's see. Okay, but we see the Protect coming out from Salamence. That's perfect. Let's see if we see the King Shield here, though. Yeah. So my opponent making a very safe play there, but it makes a lot of sense. Because I basically waste my Protect there. So just scouting out, but it does give me a bit more leeway this next turn. And let's see. Let me quickly jot down my opponent's team so I remember. We saw Bisharp, Salamence, which is Mega, Talonflame, Rotom Wash, Aegislash, not Bisharp, excuse me, Landorus T, and what was my opponent's last one again? Landorus T, oh, Sylveon, right. So if I had to guess, Aegislash here is going to switch out and he's going to target Bisharp with a fire type attack. So I want to Sucker Punch Salamence and just Heat Wave. Since it's probably not even going to Wide Guard at this rate, so yeah, I'll make that play. Oh, he's not going to switch out though. Sucker Punch does a lot there. Heat Wave should knock it out as long as he doesn't... Oh, he does have Rock Slide though, wow! That's a pretty rare move to... Not rare... Oh. Okay, Charizard isn't able to hang on there. Fantastic move on my opponent's end, and I should have played assuming he might have had it, and Aegislash goes for a sub there. So, nice play on my opponent's end there. I do get a free switch into the Landorus T though, which is good, but I'm still in a pretty rough position. I was not expecting Rock Slide. I should have anticipated it and switched out, but most Mega Menses I see carry something like Draco Meteor, you know, a normal type attack like Return or Double Edge, Earthquake / Fire Blast. So Rock Slide, my opponent there really coming out in the clutch right there. I think I could just knock off the Aegislash here and Rock Slide, honestly. Yeah, I'm gonna go for that play. Salamence is gonna make the safe protect, which is good for my opponent, of course. Yeah, not many plays I could have made there. I used to have knockoff on Landorus, which could have helped here, but unfortunately I don't have it this time around. Wow, that's actually fast Aegislash too. Oh my gosh. And I should have Sucker Punched and Rock Slided in retrospect. As he goes for the Shadow Ball into Bisharp, how much will it do? Not that much. I'm guessing my opponent's giving up special attack investment for, special defense there is actually going to give me the Defiant boost. That's amazing, actually. As I'm going to get another knockoff here. But that might put me in Shadow Ball KO range. So I'm at +3 attack now, which is obviously amazing. And that actually is definitely going to put me in KO range because of the, another decrease there. So we saw Shadow Ball sub, King Shield. That means that Aegislash most likely doesn't have Wide Guard. So now I can just Rock Slide once again. I really want to knock off Aegislash because I'm predicting the sub. Because the Sucker Punch is really obvious here. I'm definitely Rock Sliding with Landorus, but the question is, do I Sucker Punch? And that's the safer play because it ensures Bisharp stays around for another turn. Or do I go for the knockoff, breaking a potential sub my opponent wants to set? Sucker Punch is safer, but then I'm going to knock out Salamence. My opponent can switch into... Yeah, I mean, if Aegislash hides behind a sub, I'm really in trouble. You know what, I'm going to go for the knockoff. I'm expecting it to go for the sub or King Shield. Salamence is actually going to switch out. Okay, what comes in? Rotom Wash. Okay. Aegislash not going to King Shield there, so we're either going to see a sub or... Let's see, Rock Slide. Yep, it does go for the sub, so... Oh, glad I called that correctly. Still putting me in the game, basically, but... I am playing from behind, once again. Fast Aegislash, interesting. And Bisharp is slowly KOing itself from these, the Life Orb recoil. A flinch there would have been really, really nice, but obviously you can't really expect much. Now this is an interesting position. That Rotom is probably going to go for a Will-O-Wisp, if I had to guess. My opponent can just Shadow Ball and Will-O-Wisp, and there's not much I can do to really prevent that. Though I guess if I got a flinch, I can Sucker Punch the Aegislash here, expecting that in Rock Slide. But the Aegislash might continue to just set up substitutes, which is the main concern right now. So I'm definitely Rock Sliding with Landorus, obviously, but the question is what Bisharp does once again. The Bisharp mind games are real. If Aegislash decides to attack, I can just Sucker Punch and, you know, there's a good chance I can flinch the Rotom as well. I'm gonna play it safer this time. I'm gonna Sucker Punch the Aegislash. I'm expecting it to attack here. Yes! Called it. So I pick up the knockout there. I think my opponent was gonna Shadow Ball Aegislash and Will-O-Wisp / Hydro Pump the Landers, but hopefully Rock Slide connects here, as it missed Rotom in the end of the last game. And it does hit, so this should do a lot of damage. A flinch here would be awesome, as it is gonna eat the Citrus Berry, so let's see what it goes for. It goes for the Will-O-Wisp, oh, and connects. But it targets the Landorus, which isn't bad, because if Salamence comes back in, I can still KO it with the Rock Slide. So, let's see what my opponent brings in here. This is a really intense game, actually. Terrakion being my last one should help out, but my opponent getting the burn onto Landorus was huge. And my opponent is going to bring back Salamence. I think Landorus should be able to KO. So I'm going to just knock off Rotom and Rock Slide. I don't know though, Salamence is really bulky. But I'm not intimidated. I am at -2. Oh, this is intense. This is intense. I'm glad I at least called out last turn correctly. But I was not expecting fast Aegislash. But okay, Salamence protects here. That's promising. But Rotom's probably gonna protect here too. Oh, it doesn't! Wow. Okay. So I'm just gonna get the Rock Slide and knockoff KO here. Oh, but it's faster than Bisharp. This guy just has all the text. Wow. As Bisharp gets the knockoff, I should still be able to KO it. Yes. But that's gonna make Bisharp KO itself because of the burn that my opponent was able to get on it. So, my opponent's team is obviously very anti-Bisharp, given that Rotom Wash and Bisharp, I mean, his Aegislash were faster, but that makes a lot of sense because you saw how weak to Bisharp my opponent's team was. So I'm gonna bring in Terrakion now. Let's see what my opponent's last one is. Ooh! Talonflame! This got interesting because Terrakion was my last one. I'm just gonna press the Rock Slide button here. Don't really know what my opponent's gonna go for, but there's not much I can do. There's no reason to protect Terrakion here. Oh my gosh, this is really intense. Whew. My fear is Choice Band Talonflame KOing Landorus with the Brave Bird, and then Salamence going for something like a return / double edge to pick up the KO. No protects coming out here, so it's the moment of truth. Talonflame goes for the Brave Bird. Who does it target? Targets Landorus. Does it KO? Yo, it does! So it all comes down to whether Salamence can KO my Terrakion. Terrakion's faster! Wow, was not anticipating that Rock Slide should pick up the KO here. Oh my gosh. Wow, what a game. What a game. That was fantastic. Not much more to say. I think it was just a really hard-fought game on both ends. You know, there wasn't really much luck here and there. You know, I was playing for optimal plays in the end, hoping Rock Slide could have picked up a flinch here and there, and I wasn't expecting Rotom and Rotom and Aegislash to be faster, but in the end, Terrakion was able to clutch it out. Wow, what a close game. I thought that Salamence would have been faster, but you know, a lot of people like to run admin Salamence without max speed investment. You know, you can go either max speed with Salamence, but most people like to invest in bulk and give up some speed for it. So I'm guessing that's the case for my opponent, and that ended up working out perfectly for me. I don't know if he could have KO'd me if he were faster, but you know, I will take that any day, and Rock Slide, fortunately enough, was able to connect with that. So that should bring my rating to around 1840-50s between that range, which is fantastic. So, 2 awesome wins in today's episode. Obviously, the first one was, got pretty lucky with the Dark Void missing, but, you know, I just played to the best of my abilities, and the second one was really, really intense, but once I figured out my opponent's sets, it helped a lot. And I do think if you want to run max speed Aegislash, Sacred Sword helps out a lot, because it allows you to one-hit KO Bisharp, whereas my opponent was forced to Shadow Ball, giving me a Defiant boost. Even though that didn't really mean much, you know, it's still scary to play against. And yeah, that was really intense. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. It was a ton of fun, and I'll see you tomorrow. Alright, peace.